All right,
Hey.
Mr. Rowley.
How are you?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, appreciate
Come
you
on
having
in.
me.
Absolutely. So, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you not only on a tremendous career
Thank
in
you.
playing as a professional athlete, but also getting through your adolescence and being brothers to Travis Rowley, who is a long-standing writer for us, probably for our first 4 or 5 years.
I knew this was going to go there. I just didn't know it was going to go there.
It's going to
this
go there
fast.
right out of the box. So, as many of you may know, Travis Rowley, fellow brother
Yes.
of Kyle, but teammate at Brown University
Correct.
as well,
Yeah.
and
Lucky enough to play together.
and at Hendricken, was one of our original mindsetters. He was sort of the conservative firebrand, and
Yeah.
you know, on Saturday mornings sometimes I'd get up and look at our analytics to see how traffic was, and all of a sudden there'd be 30,000 extra unique visitors, and I would immediately say, oh, Travis's column seems to have struck a chord.
And then he's in a fight with them.
Oh my
commenting
God, it
afterwards.
was just beautiful. So after a number of years, Travis got married and moved to Boston with
Yes.
his lovely wife. They've
Yes.
had one child,
Yes, and one on the way.
and one on the way. And it was so funny that the people that most missed him were Democratic consultants, right? It was, you know, it's Brad Dufault, who runs a Democratic consulting firm,
Right.
Bob Walsh, head of the NEA, and those two almost got into, I think, street fights.
I'm
over
glad
it.
you mentioned Brad Dufault because I was going to shout him out.
Absolutely. So listen, Rhode Island is not a hotbed for professional football.
Right.
There's been a few over the years. I mean,
Right.
probably the greatest was Mark Van Egan.
Yeah.
But you really built an amazing career coming out of Brown,
I appreciate
and you played for the Portland team.
I did.
and-
Portland Thunder.
Yeah, and we have a Portland site out there, so we saw you when you came in. Talk a little bit about the career you had and how many years?
I played 14 years professionally in the Arenas Football
That's
League.
amazing.
Yeah. I think I got out right at the right time. I can still walk. I can still play some rec basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah, and especially in arena, it's very hard hitting. So, I was lucky enough to play that long.
Right. And you played in a lot of cities.
I did. I probably played in, I'd say 12 different cities in
12
14 years.
different
Yeah,
cities in
I
14 years.
was always trying to jump on the best team at the best point.
Won a few championships?
I did. I was able to win a couple arena football championships, and it was a great ride. I've got a lot of great stories. I've been in a lot of great places, and it's a high level of football, and that's one of the reasons I started what I'm doing now with East Coast football is because I saw how many great athletes, even in arena, are being overlooked.
Yeah.
In Rhode Island, it reminded me of Rhode Island because I saw a lot of great athletes here that didn't go on to play college, and when I went on to play college, I didn't see much of a difference. So
Yeah.
it started to connect the dots for me, and that's some of the things I'm trying to do right now, are give guys a chance that aren't getting a chance.
And you've just launched your business just in the past few months.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. In fact, my business partner is Terrence Turner. He played wide receiver at Indiana, was with the Philadelphia Eagles for a little bit, and we kind of had the same vision.
Was he that Disney movie that I saw?
Disney movie?
Yeah, about the Philadelphia
No,
Eagle.
yeah. I don't know if it might have been based on him. But we had sort of the same vision to give these kids an opportunity. We were so on the same page that we said, all right, well, what's the first thing we can do? And it came to us that no one's running showcases around here, so we really said, what's the earliest we could get a showcase up and off the ground? And 2 months ago, we said the week after the Rhode Island Massachusetts Championships, we looked up the date, we looked for venues, and we just started promoting it. And it's been a whirlwind of 2 months, actually getting all the kids out, getting all the coaches out, finding the venue, getting all the equipment we need for that type of thing, all down to ordering the T-shirts. So, but it all came together, and it was yesterday. We had 150 really good players out
Good for
there.
you.
We had, I'd say, 20, 25, 30 coaches at certain points. Really, I was trying to entertain the coaches, make
Yeah.
sure they had their head in the packet trying to recruit players. So
Yeah,
I ended
yeah.
up leaving them alone because they were really there to work, and they found players that they needed that what looked like wouldn't have been recruited otherwise. So that was the most exciting thing about yesterday.
So you played 7-on-7. You did it up
Yeah.
at 4 Kicks, right?
We did.
Yeah. So a big indoor facility. in the
Right.
Foxborough one?
4 Kicks in Taunton is
Taunton.
it's immaculate.
Yeah.
We actually were trying, because we're bootstrapping it right in the beginning, we're trying to get it away with doing it outside.
Yeah.
And I figured the championships are outside. This is only a week later, December 10th. We can do this. So we booked the outside. It's a lot cheaper cheaper to do it outside.
Right.
It's a lot more room because we need a lot of games going on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
150 kids. And of course, it snowed the day before.
Of course it did.
So that was what was crazy about the last 2 days. We had to revamp the whole program, figure out how to do it on only one football field when we had 3. But it turned out to be great because instead of just having games, we got to do some one-on-ones, some showcase type drills,
Right.
and the coaches actually really responded to that, and we're leaving the games to go watch the kids go through some combine-specific drills.
The recruiting process, I was not a recruited athlete, but my son plays
Yeah.
lacrosse up at Colby. And, it's a no-joke process. And
Yeah.
the coaches are there. I think people forget, the coaches who are there, it's their livelihood. I mean,
Yeah.
it's how they feed their family. So
Yeah.
they're not messing around
They really weren't.
on their cousin's brother-in-law.
I thought that I had maybe badgered them so much that they were showing up to do me a favor, but they didn't want to talk to me at all. They were looking at the athletes, so I was like, oh great, let me get out of the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's exciting to see. I was talking a lot about how I was kind of mad at the Northeast schools for not recruiting more Northeast athletes,
Yeah.
especially when I saw that they're just as good. But what kind of dawned on me this weekend is that maybe we're not putting enough events on to make it easy for them. We need to make
100%.
it easy for them. Bring the kids into one place so they can do their jobs.
Well, it's funny, basketball, and I'll tell you, lacrosse is far ahead of almost any other sports, both
Yeah.
of them. Lacrosse players, they get recruited when they're 13, 14,
Yeah.
15 years old.
Right.
Jamie Monroe played at Brown, was the coach at Denver, he's the ESPN analyst. He runs a big lacrosse program,
Yeah.
a major,
Yeah.
and his son was recruited as an 8th grader to North Carolina by
Yeah.
Joe Bresci.
And I'm sure it was through an event that he showed up
a ton
at
of
himself.
events.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
right. There's showcases all over the place, and there's different levels of showcases, right?
Right.
I mean, there's the showcases where Dave Petramala's sitting there from Johns Hopkins,
Yeah.
and then there's the ones where the guy from a Division III
Yeah.
school are there.
And I think there's a reason why kids get recruited out of events because even colleges are showing up to games, but it's kind of the same as
Very
watching
difficult.
them on film. You get no personality out of that. You can't see them with their helmet off. You can't shake their hand and look them in the eye.
Right.
You kind of can't get the feel of how they are on a sideline. It's almost like a job interview because more important than whether they can do the job or not is whether you can stand and be in the same room with them day in and day out.
Well, college coaches, high school coaches get the kids that show up.
Yeah. Right.
College coaches get to pick who they're going to have for the next 4
Right,
years.
right, exactly.
And in college, there isn't a big transferring issue like there is in college basketball, where kids are jumping. I think it's like 35% of Division I basketball players transfer.
Right.
College football, you're there or you quit,
Yeah.
or you got hurt, or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So it really matters, and you can't always tell when the helmet's on if the kid's pouting after he dropped a pass or cursing the
100%.
quarterback for throwing it over his head. So the showcases make a difference.
Yeah, and also it's not just, I always say, you're looking for the qualities you want, but in meeting someone, you can check a lot of boxes off that would be bad things. Like,
Right.
he doesn't strike me as a criminal. He doesn't
Yeah.
strike me as a cancer in my locker room.
Right.
Things like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? People tend to look for what they want, but I think our subconscious mind says, you know what? I don't have to worry about this kid. I'm gonna offer him a scholarship right here and now. And
Yep.
so we're trying to break down the wall and get these guys in the same room so things can happen.
Were there any big surprises, big successes yesterday?
Kobe Johnson was a kid out of Maine who came all the way out, had almost no.
By the way, when you live in Maine,
Yeah.
everywhere's a long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So
if you
but-
need milk, it's
But
a long
when
run.
I saw it pop up on the screen, and we got a new registrant, and he's from Maine, I was like, oh man, I don't even know how he
Right.
heard about it, but that's great. So he came down, and a couple coaches had asked me about him. I didn't know, I had to go look, and he's a good-looking kid. And I went and talked to him later. I wanted him to get some interviews because I knew he was getting attention. I said, hey, who's been recruiting you prior to this? He said, nobody. So that was when I was like, we're doing the right thing right here. And, Deb Weinrich, who's helped us a lot the last week, like really, she runs a lot of events for Will Blackman, so she's kind of in the swing of that.
Right.
She helped us a lot. She said, the kid was almost bombarded. Like he wasn't used to getting that much
position did he
attention. He was a defensive end type, yeah.
Yeah.
So he looked like he could play a lot of different
Yeah.
positions. So that was one of the great things. We had Michael Walsh out there from Moses Brown, one of the top cornerbacks here. He obviously got a lot of attention. He was already getting attention. But it's important to bring big names like that to kind of legitimize the event. We had a kid, Kyle Johnson, who's kind of a tweener, getting some attention, but doesn't know where he was going to go. He's at a classical, skilled wideout, defensive back type. So what I was happy about was just the talent level. Yeah. Hendricken's almost a ton of guys from Hendricken out there, a ton of guys from Everett, the two-time defending Massachusetts undefeated team. So that was encouraging because I didn't know who was going to come out. But I think when you call it a showcase, you end up getting the best players, so you don't really have to worry about it.
That's great. What's next for you?
What's next? So we want to do another showcase very soon. This one we did at a very awkward time.
Yep.
After the football season, people had transitioned to basketball mode in the Northeast.
Right.
And that was a lot of the pushback I got was like, it sounds like a great idea. I'm really happy for you that you're trying to do it, but it's basketball season. I was like, yeah, our mantra is year-round football in the Northeast.
Right.
Like we're trying to make a wave, change the culture a little bit.
You might be the first person ever to utter that year-round football in the Northeast.
So you have to be, in order to change things, you have to be a little bit bold. And I think we proved that you could put a showcase on in Rhode Island or in Massachusetts, in this area, and during the basketball season, and right after the football season, in the snow. And we had basketball players at the showcase. They got permission from their basketball coach to come to a football showcase because it's a once in a, not a lifetime, but once in their high school career opportunity.
Listen, I'll tell you, I've been down the Worldwide Sports, down at ESPN, down at Disney, and there's a football showcase with big time coaches there nonstop. It seems like it's 52 weeks a year.
Right, exactly. And you have to.
And they're studs.
You have to do it,
right?
Because, like we said, you can't see from an all 22 angle from the press box if you're really going to offer that kid a scholarship. It just doesn't happen.
What was other nice surprises? Any coaches that you didn't expect that showed up?
We had a ton of coaches turn out. Being from Rhode Island, I was really happy that Brown University came out. So hopefully they found some guys.
Was Phil there?
Phil wasn't there. He sent his player personnel guy, Jordan Softcheck. So thank you, Jordan. It's important to try to get the 1AAs out there too. We had a lot of D3s and D2s, which is great. I think the biggest misconception, and I get this even from high school football coaches, is that I've probably got 5 guys that can play college football. When in fact, a lot of these D3s, you may not start there, but they need football players. They need bodies, really. And those guys can get money, financial aid, if the football team wants them to come out. So our eyes are always on the D1s. And you think, I've got maybe a few guys that could play at Brown. Well, there's a lot more schools than that, and because you're not thinking of them, that's why they need your guys.
Well, and you go to a bit, the Little 3 rivalry game or Bowdoin Bates or one of those games. That's as fun a football game as there is anywhere in the world.
Right, and you know what? You asked the question, so I'd be remiss not to shout out these schools, but we had schools like Dean, Nichols, Maine Maritime, AIC, UMass Dartmouth. UMass Dartmouth sent about 5 coaches out. I mean, they just had their heads in the thing, checking guys off, talking to guys. They set up a table with their brochures afterwards. So, and I'm missing schools, but I appreciate all the schools from coming out. Worcester State.
Worcester. Come on.
I'm looking at the film. That's, I'm a Rhode Island guy.
Yeah, right. You can butcher it when they move the paw socks up there and the Worcester socks.
What's the
right. If I'm the parent or I'm a player and I want to get more information, how do I tap into your enterprise?
EastCoastFball.com, like football, East Coast F-ball. There's a lot of information at my website, Rowley QBs. So because we got it off the ground so fast, the EastCoastFball.com site is the registration page for it. So that'll, in the next coming months,
and we'll have that in the piece we post tomorrow. And then if you're a young quarterback, is there the opportunity to get some real, custom work to be able to work with you and your team?
So what I do year round is train quarterbacks. I mean, that's the inception of this. Is I was training so many guys. When you're training quarterbacks, you're working with receivers. Then you happen to be working with running backs. And I understood, or came to realize I had to create a bigger umbrella for myself. But any quarterbacks can reach out to me directly. I list all my information at rowleyqbs.com. And I'm already working with a ton of guys in Rhode Island and Mass, but there's always room for more. And I always want to, I don't turn guys away. I want to figure out a way to help everyone that wants to get high level instruction. Because in my estimation, that goes down to youth guys. I take youth players and I put them on the board, on the whiteboard.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be on the white. I wasn't on the whiteboard really till I was at Brown.
Right.
But these kids can learn very simple concepts and start to understand it's not really about what the offense is doing, it's about getting your eyes up on the defense.
Yeah.
Then you start really playing at a higher level. But the only way to do that is to be taught from someone that knows how to do that. And I try to offer that because I was lucky enough to play as long as I did.
And you played in the Chaos League.
The chaos, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You have to make decisions fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we want to thank you so much for taking the time. You're going to come back and talk to us all the time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Patriots or Dolphins tonight?
I got the Patriots.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They sometimes struggle down there at the end of the year. That cost them two
Yeah,
seeds.
they kind of jump ahead sometimes. So.
Yeah. But you think they're going to be eye on the prize and Belichick's got them focused?
I think a lot about Tom Brady. He's he's obviously the best we've ever had, but maybe the best of all time. So I don't think I would ever pick against him.
That's great. So stay right here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on Business Monday. A lot going on. A big story. GoLocal just broke on Hasbro looking at a potential opportunity to tear down the Superman building and build a corporate headquarters there. That's being proposed by the combination of Palino Properties and Gilbane Development. We got an update from news editor Kate Nagel on what's going on between Commerce and Lance Robbins, the California developer, as well as Gary Sass, the money man, talking about federal tax reform, and Megan Decker from G Media talking about all the growth.
Can I throw in that thank you to Gilbane Construction, Gilbane Building for sponsoring 10 kids to the showcase.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that a former tight end of yours? Was that the connection?
No.
No?
You know, we grew up with the Gilbane family, so I reached out
but
directly.
did somebody play with you, a Choquette? Did he play with you?
He was right before me. Yeah.
Right before
Yep,
you.
yep.
So the connection goes back.
Yes.
And Gilbane, of course, a
Yeah.
longstanding football legacy of Brown University.
Yep, exactly.
So thanks everybody. Tomorrow, Ava Gaudette will be on with Arts and Entertainment, and then Kate Nagel at 4 o'clock with Politics and News. Lots going on. Stay tuned to Go Local Live. Thanks.